The process was really good because you go through a long process of interacting with an individual from each company.
I'm here with Tyler Riggins with GameDay of Mount Pleasant. Tyler, thanks for coming over today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chuck.
Yeah, man. So you've been in GameDay for almost a year now. Before we get into GameDay, kind of tell people about what your background is, like kind of what led you to this path of franchise ownership.
So have always been interested in owning my own business. Wasn't fortunate enough until getting to this point of having the time and resources to get there, but I've been a golf consultant for over 20 years as my day job and continue to do that. Through that, I work with golf tournaments and fundraisers, volunteerism, board structure and strategic planning, kind of the skeleton of building a business. I help local, state, regional golf associations do that. So through all that process of 20 years of working in the golf business, learning how about 50 or 60 golf associations operate. Most of them on paper look about the same, but in reality they operate really specifically to their markets and their communities and programs and initiatives that really are geared towards those specific places. I've seen it done 100 different ways. So all of that to say that I've seen business operate in a lot of ways and was ready to kind of start that on my own. So that's when I got in touch with you.
So some people, I've been around you when this happens. Some people like say, cool, man, you're in the golf industry.
Yeah.
Why look for something else? Like some people, that's the pinnacle job, like doing what you're doing, like that, to be around the people that you get to be around every day. So why look for something else?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like you just said, we've played in golf tournaments and I get this question all the time. And it's like, you just drive around in a golf cart all day and like play golf every day. And like I just said, I do business consulting. So I'm in more business and board meetings than I am playing golf. But I grew up around the game. This is what I wanted to do. I'm no professional golfer by any means. It's a career and it, has supported my family for a long time, but you don't get freedom by a career, essentially. A one salary career is not going to get you to the promised land, in my own mind, my promised land.
Sure.
And what can support my family. So, you turn 40 and start looking for some other revenue sources and income. And that's when me and a couple of buddies just finally, after going on trips and, having some drinks and being like, we're going to create the doohickey that we're going to get rich and sell. And it just never happens. Well, we were ready. And me and two business partners finally got to that point and jumped over the fence and decided, let's kick it around. Let's find out what this is about. Having a day job, all three of us had day jobs. We're like, well, somebody's gonna have to quit and start actually running this business. Two of us didn't have that option. We need our day jobs and weren't willing to really jump all the way in the deep end. Without creating something brand new, franchising made a ton of sense for us to have a box that you open, plug it in, have a lot of support. You don't stub your toe 100 times along the way. They kind of guide you along the way, and having those resources made it a little more reasonable for us to really take this on. So the opportunity was great for someone in my situation.
So like looking back now, like exploring franchise ownership, do you think that you could have done it without having a partner actively involved?
So this one business, GameDay, our situation, our market, our setup, we needed someone that was going to have their hands on it and be totally vested to get it off the ground. Could I have hired someone? Potentially, but I think someone having a vested interest in the day-to-day was important for us.
Sure.
Maybe more control freaks than others. So that made the most sense for our situation and our mentality and our personalities. But yeah, absolutely, it can be done. You can hire a manager and the right staff. Staffing is hard. It doesn't matter what industry or part of the market that you're in. Staffing has been challenging, and I don't think that stops. So with that, having a little bit more control of an ownership in a leadership role was important for us.
I think one thing I've noticed with you and Dave has been your active involvement in the community, you know, and like, I think that you guys have taken that extra step here in Charleston and Mount Pleasant to be actively involved, to be at the forefront of men's health. Is that something that you guys thought you guys were going to have to do going into this, or did you kind of feel like the doors were just going to start swinging open?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, because I mean, I would have rather paid some marketing, arms and mechanisms to accomplish it. Absolutely, I would much rather do that than get my hands dirty and get sweaty and be out there. And I have a 60-hour-a-week job as it is. Trying to find 10 or 15 or 20 more hours to go and set up a table was not appetizing.
Right. Yeah.
But that's more our mentality. That's how I've been trained in golf, hands-on in front of people. And with men's health and the medications and procedures and processes that we use, there's a lot of education that needs to be done in this space. And it's not common knowledge for testosterone, or honestly, there's more misinformation out there than there is knowledge on testosterone. GLP-1s, peptides are, the Wild West. It's a lot of unknown. So once we got our hands wrapped around the products and the systems, I'm not in the medical field at all. I am a patient of testosterone, so I knew it from experience, but the educational aspect has been really important. And we knew that really quickly, that you have to get out there and talk to people, dispel some rumors or things that they've heard on a podcast potentially,
Sure.
And really talk about impact and create a relationship. So we knew that you just had to talk to people face to face.
Right. Yeah. So looking, like you're looking at GameDay, you're evaluating the opportunity. Clearly, there is competition in this space. Mm-hmm. So, what was it about GameDay that was the big differentiator for you to say, I know there's competition out there, but we feel really comfortable attaching ourselves to this brand because we feel, what was it? Like, what was it that was?
Yeah. So we looked at 6 or 7 brands, for your introductions, and there are so many amazing products and services, and whether it's home service to milkshake factory to any other kind of medical space. GameDay stuck out to us because it was new, it was different. Evan Miller is so passionate about this brand, what we're doing for men in everywhere in the country, his vision to make this the best men's health brand in the world. We were attracted to his vision, and I just said I've been on testosterone 2 years from one of our competitors. I know the benefits of it for myself, and I've seen it 100 times. But he just said the market is muddy. I mean, there's a lot of competition in this space. The smaller box concierge medicine was intriguing. You can go to any kind of primary doctor and talk to them about it. Most of them haven't been trained in this medicine in the last 10 years. It's from what they learned in school or from further education. Concierge men's health specifically, and women have, to be clear, like women have been in the hormone space for a long time, maybe 100 years, that have more commonplace. It's very, very normal. The men's space has been a little taboo, mainly because most people think testosterone is a steroid or is not approved by the FDA, that you have to get it on the black market, that you're using these giant needles and it's uncomfortable and you only do it if you have to do it. That is furthest from the truth. This, for me specifically, I'll tell you a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
Is I turned 40, It was, a little couple years after COVID, just not sleeping well, not waking up with motivation, just low energy. I became it's 3 o'clock, I need a nap, and I'm 40 and I want to go out and play some basketball. And that took me down, and I was like, maybe I have long COVID. Maybe I'm just debilitated from something that is in the shadows of my body. Through the process of talking through these companies, we started looking at GameDay and went to one of our now competitors and got tested, and my testosterone was really low. That day, got the first shot and an injection of testosterone, and a couple times a week for the last 2 years, and I legit feel like I'm sub 30 again. Like I'm ready to go. I don't know the last time I took a nap, and exercise a little, and man, I've changed. That's what we were sold from GameDay too.
Yeah.
Was these things, you got to do some education, you got to get out, you got to get into the communities and talk about what this can benefit. Get over the hump of, you're not going to this sterile hospital environment. You're coming to a man cave and you're talking to one doctor all the time, 2 other medical staff that are supporting you. Like when you come in, you got 3 staff that are for you. You get all of your questions answered. Most of these places don't take insurance. We don't as well. We will take HSA, but these are people that are coming in saying something is not right. I want to fix it for me. I want to pay for this and get myself right. And that part, through the process of researching all of these companies, the passion, the science, the mentality behind GameDay was the selling point.
Yep.
There's plenty of companies out there that'll sell you and talk you through it, and you'll get on the hook. This was the real deal, and that's what pushed us over the edge.
So if I'm a client and I'm coming into GameDay, and have I been a patient somewhere else before? What is it? What are your clients saying? They're coming in saying, this is different for me.
Yeah, that was another piece of what GameDay came to the table with. And they told us, look, your competitors are different from what we're designing.
Yeah.
Our model is dedicated concierge medicine. You're going to see the same faces every time you come in. But when you come in and you're interested, it's efficient, it's comfortable, and it's not pushy. This is not a sales pitch. You're coming in because you don't feel great. Let me take a little bit of your blood. We're going to test it in our house, in the clinic. Hang out in our lobby, watch ESPN, grab a snack. 15 minutes later, you're going to know your testosterone level and your prostate health, your PSA number, some H&H, or some blood health.
Yeah.
Foundational health metrics that just start the conversation. And then you sit down for 30 to an hour with our primary clinic director, and she will talk to you about what those numbers mean, what your goals are. If you felt better, what would you be doing? What are your goals for the next 3-5 years? This medication can get you there, and these doses, and here's your options and the cost associated. Let's start today. And the primary guys are 40-plus-year-old that is like me. Unfortunately, we're seeing guys younger 30s that are coming in and feeling the same way. And unfortunately, they have some low T that is an indicator of what they're dealing with too. It's all the crappy food we eat. And look, I mean, the last 50 years, there's not too many jobs where you're getting out and working your body. We're all a bunch of desk jockeys that sit around and sedentary lifestyle anymore and looking for some quick and easy results. Just lifestyle has really hurt our bodies and the inner workings of it. Testosterone for guys just happens to be kind of the skeleton key to some of those things.
Sure. So a lot of our talk has been around testosterone, but what other things can does GameDay offer? That if I come to your clinic, what are some of the offerings that you guys have?
Yeah. So testosterone is very specific. It'll fix a lot of things. There's now that where science is evolving on the medication side, peptides are really, really popular, and they they can do the same things that testosterone does, and can accomplish some of those goals that you're looking to do. 95% of the guys that come to our clinic are not looking to be Hulk. Like, they're not looking to just grow mass. They're looking to feel better and get over the hump. When you turn 40 and you're in the gym and you're eating okay, it's really hard to get over the hump. You kind of plateau and you have to really push and invest. These supplements can really help you change the trajectory and really improve, not necessarily quicker, but more efficient. So a lot of the peptides that are coming out, very specific, they can be for weight loss, they can be for injury recovery. There's a peptide that will help you tan. Like, there's all kinds of things. And look, there are some can be in the market for just about everything. And there's our go-tos can kind of help with a lot of different things, mostly in the health side, not necessarily the complexion side.
Sure, yeah. So if you rewind a year and a half, what is it, if you could go back and tell Tyler something that you've learned now that you wish you would have known, whether that's about franchising or business ownership, what would you tell yourself?
So the process was really good, because you go through a long process of interacting with an individual from each company, answer lots of questions. The main thing that I would go back and do is ask a lot more questions. And I don't know that you can really necessarily prepare for that without going through the process. So that part's hard, but 2020, more about the resources from the franchise level that will help you day to day. And there was plenty of that conversation. I think a lot of it was, I would love more information on the companies that we passed on. When you get deep into the exploration phase of a company, like, you get a lot of information, you have opportunity to find out. It comes out by the end. The other thing I would say is, when you're in a team, an ownership group, and the three of us were equal owners at the time. That has since changed, just based on some work-life balance stuff with one of the partners. But having really clear roles and the position that each of you has. There was three of us, so each of us has similar skills. Some of us have intermediate skills that might help on maybe finance or marketing. But the three of us were similar. We're all buddies. Like, we went through the same college program, sport management at Tennessee. That's where we met. Really specific roles, because just a snowball starts and one person starts taking on something, and either they get to a point where my skill set stops. Like, I don't know how to go further. And then the other two don't know how I even got there. And then you need support, and then that costs. And we've had 4 or 5 attorneys, and they all just have very specific skills themselves. So be ready to invest in support. I think that would be just maybe the third thing. Ask lots of questions, really be specific with roles of ownership, and know that you're going to need some resources for support for lots of things.
I hear you, because I've been in ownership groups where we're all operators.
Right.
And we're all like, no, I want to operate like this, or I don't want to operate like that. I mean, we all have our opinion, and, and then people may get, their feelings hurt if they're not doing it that way. And, so finding your lane early and being able to, trust that the person who's in their lane is going to do what they're good at doing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. You told me that.
Yeah.
All of that. You told me that when we were going through it. And I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, we'll figure it out. Well, we got it. Like, we're all operators. We know how to support and function. And I'm a professional firefighter. When there's something comes up, I probably can't put it out, but I know someone that can. Like, I'm a facilitator. I know how to get things done. Being more strategic, a little bit, needing someone to make decisions without the other two. And at what point is that threshold where you can make that decision? At what point do you need a vote?
Right. Yeah.
Having that in writing and being specific and having some tough conversations, that it's so important.
Right.
And
so even, again, I get this all the time, right? Like, I got a buddy who's going to invest with me, or, so like, even when it comes to your best friends, that you guys are all on the same page, we've always been on the same page, we're cool, you still need it in writing. Yeah.
You have to have it in writing.
Yeah.
Even the writing is going to get some edits, and be willing to make some edits, and be willing to say, look, I love you guys, but this is what we need to do. And let's separate the business from the friendship. This is always going to be solid. Like, if this isn't working, we got to figure it out, or we got to do it some other way.
Sure. So, we typically talk about, as franchise consultants, the evolution of a franchisee. So you kind of have this like beginning phase of infancy. I don't know what I'm doing. I need the franchisor. This is something that like, what's my next step? Okay. And then you kind of end up in these like teenage years. I know better than them. Okay. Like they rebel, that we're going to do it our way. And then you kind of end up in this adolescence phase where you start to realize, like, we are doing this together. We wouldn't be here without us all being here. Where are you?
We are 17, 18, coming, into college and realizing, oh yeah, our parents were probably right about that.
Right.
Look, GameDay was brand new. We were number 75-ish open, and they sold 900. Thursday is our 1-year anniversary. So, yeah, we went through the part of how our parents were young when they had us, basically.
Sure. Yeah,
and they were kind of figuring it out. And that's one thing of like, look, I wouldn't change anything. I'd really like being an owner of a GameDay franchise. It's awesome. There is something, a lot of benefit to getting in with a franchise that is a long way down the road and has figured it out and solidified, done it a while. Building their own resources. GameDay's getting to the point where now they are making relationships and national publicity and marketing. They weren't really able to. Look, we've only been kicking in, 2% to that for a year.
Yeah.
It's really more like 18 months, 2 years that they've been franchised. So building that kitty of marketing resources took a while. And finding the right partners to accomplish some of those marketing endeavors took a little while. And now they found the right partners. They're hitting their stride and crushing it. We had to wait through that. And honestly, back to the ground marketing, more getting into the community, we didn't have a choice. Like, we had to get out and show the brand and talk about the brand and be at every single marathon and business and brews and the Chamber of Commerce meetings. We had to do those things. Otherwise, we were kind of flying solo and hoping somebody'd see our Instagram ad.
Right.
So, belief. I believe in Evan and the team that he's created, and we're definitely starting to hit the stride and seeing the fruits of that labor right now. So
yeah. Yeah, so, one thing that I try to do whenever I'm helping people is like set the appropriate expectations, and so and that's what I want people to get out of this podcast is to really set the appropriate expectations of this is what it's going to take to be successful. Even if you're a part of an emerging concept or if you're a part of one that's been established, you know, like your expectation is going to be to get out in the community, you know, and, you know, maybe you're going to be able to ride the coattails of a national campaign, maybe not, you know, and nobody's got the crystal ball, you know, per se. But I think you guys have done great. Congratulations on the 1 year that's coming up. And yeah, man, I appreciate you coming over.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Great.
dude.
It's always a blast to talk business, and you know, it's fun to talk about your own you know, travels and struggles. There's no such thing as absentee ownership, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Finding, you know, 10 hours to spend on a business, if you can find it, you can accomplish it, and you know, lean on all the resources like Chuck as you can. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
What's next for you? You gonna grow GameDay? You gonna sit on the one? What do you think?
So I think the plan is to get this thing profitable here really soon, and then look at other opportunities. And I think it's probably a different type of brand, different market, and see if we can recreate the success with GameDay.
Cool. Thanks for coming by, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, buddy.